Tonight, breaking news, the arrest and the murder of a CEO in New York City. Tonight, the new images just in of the young man police are now calling a person of interest, now in custody. Police apprehending him at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. An employee recognizing him and calling authorities. Tonight, what authorities are now saying about the gun they recovered from the man, what's called a ghost gun, possibly made with a 3D printer, along with a silencer, fake IDs, a handwritten 3-page document. The images tonight, the NYPD racing nearly 300 miles along I-80 to question the man in custody in Pennsylvania. Aaron Katersky on the scene with the arraignment tonight. Also breaking, the Marine veteran Daniel Penny found not guilty in the subway chokehold case in New York City. Tonight, our team inside Syria, what our James Longman has witnessed already after the fall of President Assad's regime. Rebels seizing Damascus with lightning speed, raiding the presidential palace, Assad's expensive cars, men, women, and children freed from underground jails. What the U.S. is now saying tonight as the world now braces, asking what comes next. Back here in the U.S. tonight, the bombshell allegations against Jay-Z, a civil lawsuit now accusing him and Sean Diddy Combs of raping a 13-year-old girl. Tonight, Jay-Z vehemently denying the accusations and calling on the accuser to now reveal her identity, saying what's fair is fair. Lindsay Davis with us tonight. Tonight on Capitol Hill, President-elect Donald Trump's nominees, Pete Hegseth, the critical new meeting for him. Tulsi Gabbard, nominated to be the next director of national intelligence. She's now facing timely questions about why she met with Assad and what Trump is now saying about mass deportations, the Dreamers, and whether prices could go up for Americans. Tonight, the drone mystery widening. Large drones now spotted over Philadelphia after being seen near the president-elect's golf course and near a military base in New Jersey. What's going on? Taylor Swift's Eras Tour takes a final bow, and what she did for her cast and crew across 5 continents. Major League Baseball star Juan Soto's record-setting contract tonight. And America Strong this evening, the basketball team, and one very silent night. The Christmas tradition, and you'll see it right here.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. It's great to have you with us here on a Monday night. We begin tonight with the breaking news on the murder of that CEO in New York City. Police say a person of interest is now in custody. Tonight, 26-year-old Luigi Mangione in custody in Altoona, Pennsylvania. For now, being held on a weapons charge. The break came after a worker at this McDonald's recognized him from those surveillance images and called authorities. Police finding Mangione had a passport and several fake IDs, including this New Jersey driver's license, the same one he used to register at a hostel in New York, where this widely circulated image was captured showing his face. We have learned police also found Mangione had what's called a ghost gun, possibly made with a 3D printer with a suppressor or silencer, appearing very similar to the one used at the attack captured on surveillance. The images today, when the news broke, the NYPD immediately racing down I-80, the nearly 300 miles to Altoona, Pennsylvania. Mangione seen in a mugshot late today, his arraignment just moments ago in Altoona. The images in a moment here. We have learned tonight he was valedictorian in high school. He went to the University of Pennsylvania, where he graduated with a master's in engineering. ABC senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky leading us off. He's on the scene in Altoona tonight.
Tonight, nearly a week after the CEO of UnitedHealthcare was gunned down outside a New York City hotel, 26-year-old Luigi Mangione has been taken into custody in Altoona, Pennsylvania, where he was recognized at a McDonald's from surveillance images.
He is believed to be our person of interest in the brazen targeted murder of Brian Thompson, CEO of UnitedHealthcare, last Wednesday in Midtown Manhattan.
The NYPD seen racing along I-80 to Altoona, nearly 300 miles away after a break in the case just after 9 a.m. A worker at this McDonald's spotted a customer who was eating and acting suspiciously and dialed 911.
A McDonald's employee did something we ask every American to do. If you see something, say something, but most importantly, do something. And they did.
Altoona police taking Mangione into custody on gun charges. Police say he had this ghost gun that may have been made with a 3D printer, similar to the weapon used to kill Thompson, along with a suppressor or silencer. They also found 3 handwritten pages that police sources tell ABC News express anger at the insurance industry and could speak to his motivation and mindset.
It does seem that he has some ill will toward corporate America.
Officials say Mangione had clothing and a mask consistent with the suspects, a passport, and multiple fake IDs, including this fake New Jersey license used to check into that hostel in New York City.
We know he has ties to San Francisco, California, and his last known address was Honolulu, Hawaii. He has no prior arrest history in New York.
Mangione had a master's in engineering from the University of Pennsylvania. He's from Maryland, where he was a valedictorian at a private boys' school in Baltimore, seen here giving a speech.
It seems like just yesterday that we were freshmen, having tie wars and playing computer games in CT20. But now we're moving on.
About a year ago, Mangione posted a review of the infamous manifesto by Unabomber Ted Kaczynski, saying he was a violent individual rightfully imprisoned who maimed innocent people, but describing him as an extreme political revolutionary. In this grainy surveillance video obtained by ABC News, Brian Thompson's killer is seen moments before the murder, waiting for the UnitedHealthcare executive. When the gunman spots his target, he runs across the street and opens fire, leaving Thompson to die on the sidewalk.
Our NYPD investigators combed through thousands of hours of video, followed up on hundreds of tips, and processed every bit of forensic evidence.
Police stitched together a timeline of the suspect's movements from the moment he arrived in New York 10 days before the shooting. He kept a mask over his face at all times, except for this one unguarded moment when he checked into that hostel. Surveillance cameras catching the suspect near the Hilton, at a Starbucks, escaping on a bicycle, and finally getting into a taxi for a ride to the bus station where he vanished. At the shooting scene, police found bullets with the words deny, defend, and deposed, a possible reference to grievances with the insurance industry.
Yes, he was the CEO of a health insurance company. In America, we do not kill people in cold blood to resolve policy differences or express a viewpoint.
Thompson's murder has ignited online anger against the industry, and over the weekend, the company putting up fencing around its headquarters. Tonight, UnitedHealthcare says in a statement, our hope is that today's apprehension brings some relief to Brian's family, friends, colleagues, and the many others affected by this unspeakable tragedy. Mangione appeared in court just moments ago, David, on the local gun charges. Investigators from the NYPD and from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office are here in Altoona. They're just starting to go through some of the evidence collected here and through the suspect's social media, where they see an X-ray of a spine and posts indicating he read books about back injuries. David?
Aaron Katersky leading us off tonight here. Aaron, thank you. We turn now to the verdict in the deadly subway chokehold trial here in New York. The breaking headline in that, the jury acquitting Marine veteran Daniel Penny of criminally negligent homicide in the death of Jordan Neely. Here's ABC's Stephanie Ramos tonight.
Tonight, Daniel Penny cleared of all criminal charges in that deadly chokehold that took the life of Jordan Neely on a New York City subway.
It's feeling good. It's feeling good.
Penny seen at a Manhattan bar celebrating with his attorneys.
He's finally got the justice he's deserved.
After 5 days of deliberations, a jury finding the 26-year-old Marine veteran not guilty of criminally negligent homicide. Authorities say Neely suffered from mental illness and drug addiction. Prosecutors admitting the 30-year-old homeless man made threats on that subway in May of 2023, but arguing that Penny's hold was excessive and lasted almost a minute after Neely stopped moving.
I just put him out. He's not breathing.
The defense maintaining Penny never intended to kill.
I'm just trying to de-escalate the situation.
The judge dropping the most serious manslaughter charge against Penny last week after the jury deadlocked. But tonight, all 12 jurors voting not guilty on that remaining lesser charge.
David, tonight, Jordan Neely's family vowing to pursue a civil lawsuit. David.
Stephanie Ramos on the case tonight. Steph, thank you. Now to the stunning turn of events in Syria. Rebels sweeping that country, seizing power, forcing President Bashar Al-Assad to flee, toppling statues of Assad, cheering the end of the family's brutal half-century rule there. Celebrations across Syria where millions of Syrians were forced to escape. But real questions now about what could come next. Tonight, our chief international correspondent, James Longman, now inside Syria and what he has witnessed already there.
Syrians fought for years to topple him, but Bashar al-Assad is tonight a dictator on the run as a rebel movement sweeps him from power in less than 2 weeks. Statues ripped down, paraded through the streets. As we drove in tonight, signs of the regime's total collapse all around us.
For so many years, Syria was a fortress. And now, we're just driving straight in.
Rebels racing into the notorious Sednaya jail, revealed to have multiple underground sections. Prisoners locked up for decades, here finding several women and a small child. Please don't be afraid, a rebel tells the child. You can go out now, we're part of the revolution. And this haunting scene, ropes believed used to torture and hang prisoners, found in one area. At the border today, hope for a new day. I met 29-year-old Yusuf, who fled his country when he was just 17. I ask how he's feeling. I'm so happy, but with mixed feelings, he says, because I've missed so much, my studies, work, but I'm happy, he says. The country Yusuf will return to, now run by this man, Abu Muhammad al-Golani, who the US considers a terrorist, having turned against al-Qaeda, and now as the leader of the Syrian rebel group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, Golani is striking a far more moderate tone. Crossing into the country, we meet the faces of his lightning revolution.
He said, why are people worried? I said, because Golani came from Al-Qaeda. ISIS might be involved. He said, no, there's nothing to worry about. These young men, not much older than 25, 26, are now manning one of the main border posts to Syria. They are from a group which the world knows very little about, but now they're in charge.
Assad evading capture, fleeing with his family to Moscow, where he was granted asylum. His Syrian palace plundered, discovered inside luxury cars. His fall after 50 years of family rule, a major blow to Iran, who funneled weapons through Syria, and for Russia, who has a key naval base in the country.
David, we're in central Damascus, and there are signs of celebration everywhere. Take a look. Shell casings all over this area. There is real joy here, but there's also real concern. No one knows what's going to happen next. David?
Concern there and all over the world tonight. James Longman in Damascus. James, thank you. Back here in the U.S. tonight, the bombshell allegations against Jay-Z. A civil lawsuit now accusing him and Sean Diddy Combs of raping a 13-year-old girl more than 20 years ago. Tonight, Jay-Z vehemently denying the accusations and calling on the accuser to reveal her identity. Here's Lindsay Davis.
Tonight, rapper Jay-Z is firing back against allegations that he sexually assaulted a then 13-year-old with Sean Diddy Combs after the 2000 VMAs. The newly amended civil lawsuit, originally filed by a Jane Doe in October, now identifies celebrity A as Jay-Z, whose legal name is Sean Carter, claiming that he and Diddy drugged and raped a 13-year-old girl at an after-party, and that a female celebrity stood by and watched as Combs and Carter took turns assaulting the minor. Combs and Jay-Z, who were both 30 at the time, were in attendance at the award show that year. Combs has previously denied all allegations. And today, Jay-Z filed to dismiss the lawsuit, calling it a cynical and calculated campaign to force payment of an exorbitant sum of money. The rapper vehemently denies the allegations, taking direct aim at the plaintiff's attorney, Tony Busby, writing, "What he has calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle," noting concern for his wife, music icon Beyonce, and their 3 children who are 12 and 7 years old. "My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims." Attorney Tony Busby is standing his ground, writing, "I won't be bullied or intimidated. People will see through this effort to discredit me and my clients, and the truth will be revealed."
And Lindsay Davis with us now, Jay-Z with requests of his own tonight.
Yes, David, in that motion to the court, Jay-Z is asking the allegations either be dismissed entirely or that the identity of the anonymous accuser be disclosed, adding fair is fair.
Lindsay Davis tonight. Lindsay, thank you. We turn now to President-elect Donald Trump and his nominees. Tonight, Embattled Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth back on Capitol Hill, the critical new meeting. Also on the Hill, Tulsi Gabbard, nominated to be Director of National Intelligence, facing timely questions of her own given what's played out in Syria now, asked about her 2017 visit with Bashar Al-Assad in Syria. And Trump's new interview, what the president-elect is now saying about members of the January 6th committee and whether prices will go up for Americans. Here's Rachel Scott tonight.
Good morning, everybody. Tonight on Capitol Hill, President-elect Donald Trump's embattled pick to lead the Pentagon, Pete Hegseth, meeting again with Senator Joni Ernst.
Did she say she's going to vote for you? Did she feel confident leaving that room that she would support you?
It was a great meeting. Ernst, the first female combat veteran and vocal survivor of sexual assault, saying, "As I support Pete through this process, I look forward to a fair hearing." Late today, asked by reporters, does she support the process or support Hegseth?
Well, you said supporting the process. It doesn't sound like you're a yes yet. Is that fair?
I am supporting the process.
Also on the Hill, Tulsi Gabbard, the former Democratic congresswoman turned Trump loyalist, tapped for director of national intelligence, facing timely questions now after the fall of ruthless dictator Bashar Al-Assad, asked about a 2017 visit to Syria and why she met with Assad.
Congresswoman, how will you explain your meeting with Assad to skeptical senators?
Kash Patel, Trump's choice to take over the FBI, who has vowed vengeance against Trump's enemies, meeting with senators too.
Ms. Patel, do you plan to investigate the January 6th Select Committee?
Patel asked about comments Trump made in his first broadcast interview since the election, suggesting the members of the January 6th committee should go to jail.
Honestly, they should go to jail.
So you think Liz Cheney should go to jail?
For what they did.
Everyone on the committee, you think?
I think everybody anybody that voted in favor.
Are you going to direct your FBI director and your attorney general to send them to jail?
No, not at all.
And just days after saying he would instate across the board 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, and economists warning his plan would raise prices for American families, Trump pressed after railing against Kamala Harris and inflation on the campaign trail.
Can you guarantee American families won't pay more?
I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee tomorrow.
President-elect Donald Trump says he's ready to move forward with his plan for mass deportations on day one. But when asked specifically about Dreamers, those undocumented immigrants who were brought to the country as children, Trump saying he would be willing to work with Democrats on a plan to let them stay. Tonight, Democrats appearing skeptical, but saying they'd be willing to engage in any good faith negotiations, David.
Rachel Scott back on her beat in Washington. Great to have you, Rachel. When we come back tonight, the images coming in, the drone mystery widening tonight. Large drones now spotted over Philadelphia after being seen near the president-elect's golf course and a military base in New Jersey. Also news coming in on Taylor Swift, what she's now done after her Eras tour for all the crew, and the basketball team and their version of Silent Night tonight. Tonight, the new drone mystery, it's widening, now seen in the Philadelphia area. Authorities say large drones were spotted over parts of Philly, Delaware County, and Camden County, New Jersey. Governor Phil Murphy says nearly 50 sightings were reported last night. Comes after sightings near President-elect Trump's golf course and a military base in New Jersey as well. When we come back here tonight, Taylor Swift's Eras tour comes to an end, and what she's now done, you want to hear it. And how does $765 million over 15 years sound? And he's just 26. To the index of other news, it's a wrap on Taylor Swift's historic Eras tour. Final show in Vancouver last night, the tour grossing more than $2 billion. She reportedly gave out $197 million in bonuses to the cast and crew on that tour across the globe. Tonight, the biggest contract ever in pro sports. After playing last season with the Yankees, Major League star Juan Soto signing a record deal with the Mets. 15 years, $765 million. He's just 26. When we come back here tonight, the basketball team in their Christmas tradition, you have never heard a game this silent.
ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for nearly 160 years.
Finally tonight here, America Strong. Have you ever seen a basketball game this silent? Tonight in Upland, Indiana, north of Indianapolis, it's the Christmas tradition at Taylor University. Every year, the big game and one very silent night. Since 1997, nearly 30 years now, the students gathering at their home game right before finals, singing Christmas songs together before the game. But once the game begins, total silence. Not a creature stirring. Just listen. Not a sound from the stands until the 10th point scored by the team. And then the school erupting into cheers, running to the court. And in the last moments of the game, the students, the professors, the whole university singing Silent Night together. And right here tonight,
hey, David.
The Taylor University men's basketball team on a Christmas tradition that continues.
Silent Night's a 27-year tradition that's been going on here at Taylor for a night full of fun and hoops. Thanks again for shining a spotlight. Go Trojans.
Christmas tradition, nearly 30 years strong now. America strong for sure. I'm David Muir. Thanks for watching. From all of us here, have a good evening. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir America's most watched newscast.